Hey there, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video of another film that features Eddie Murphy. Now, for those who don't know, I'm doing an Eddie Murphy marathon where I'm trying to watch as many films as he's been in as possible. And this one I was a bit hesitant, quite a bit hesitant to watch because I'm not a big movie musical guy. I mean, I don't mind Little Shop of Horrors. I like that film quite a bit, actually. I reviewed that when I did a marathon of John Candy films, where I reviewed most of his movies, because John Candy has a small role in it. And for those interested, I do have a playlist on my channel of my John Candy movie reviews. Really love the guy, miss the guy. The Little Shop of Horrors starring Rick Moranis, that's a fun musical. I like the songs in that. I don't mind the Rocky Horror Picture Show, but there's not a ton of musicals that I don't search out for them, so to speak. Now I know Dreamgirls is based on something from before, and then for years they were wanting to make a movie. I think at one point Whitney Houston wanted to be in the film, or they wanted Whitney Houston, but she wanted things changed. But then ultimately, this came to be from the director of Gods and Monsters, also the guy who would direct like the last two. Didn't he do like the last two Twilight movies as well? I'm like, the director of this did the last two Twilight movies? The fuck? Now, the film has Jamie Foxx, Jennifer Hudson, Beyoncé, Danny Glover's in the film, as well as Eddie Murphy. Now, Eddie Murphy was nominated for an Oscar. People thought he was going to win, but then he didn't win. I believe Alan Arkin did for Little Miss Sunshine. And I'm sure that pissed off Eddie Murphy a lot, because apparently during the Oscars, when he didn't win, he just left, said, fuck this. Because I think he had won like Golden Globes and other places, but not the Oscars. And I didn't see Little Miss Sunshine, but I don't know if that role would have been better than Eddie's. And Jennifer Hudson, this was her first role. She had previously been a contestant on American Idol, and she didn't even win the thing. She got like 7th place in like season 3. And the story, it's pretty much Diana Ross and the Supremes. Only they don't call them by those names. Jamie Foxx, for what I understand, is playing pretty much Barry Gordy Jr. I was waiting for the Last Dragon to be mentioned in the film, or if they had to change it, because Barry Gordy's the Last Dragon. Only maybe in this film, since they had to change names, it maybe would be called like the Last Tiger. I am the last tiger. Soon you will feel the power of the war. If it did that, I would actually commend the film. But you know what? With that said, I actually didn't mind the film, surprisingly enough. This is not my typical kind of movie, but I thought Bill Condon, the director, did a really good job. It's considering it's 2 hours and 10 minutes, I was really dreading that, but it went at a fast pace. Almost too fast of a pace, I must say, which I'll get into that in a bit. But I definitely don't think the film dragged, because it went quick. It was flashy. 80% of it was songs, it seemed like, and I thought a lot of the songs were good, especially ones like Listen, which Beyonce sang. Because Beyonce's pretty much playing the Diana Ross part. Her character's name is Dina Jones. So instead of Diana Ross, it's Dina Jones. Jamie Foxx, his character's name is Curtis, based upon Motown founder Berry Gordy Jr. Beyoncé is Dina Jones, based upon Diana Ross. Jennifer Hudson as Effie, based on Supremes member Florence Ballard, who is a plus-sized woman that she got pushed aside because of her looks, and they wanted a more thinner lady. Danny Glover as a guy who was at first Eddie Murphy's character's manager and friend. Eddie Murphy as James Thunder Early, inspired by people like James Brown and Marvin Gaye. Jaleel White, Urkel himself, has a small appearance early on in the film. Like in the first 5-10 minutes, I'm like, holy shit, that's Steve Urkel, is Jaleel White. That's a talent booker. John Lithgow is in a tiny role as a film producer trying to cast Beyonce's character into a film. Like Diana Ross was being cast in the films in her heyday. It's pretty much the story of Diana Ross and the Supremes, only instead of the Supremes, they're called the Dreamettes, later called the Dreams. And Jamie Foxx's character is this car salesman who meets this group, the Dreamettes. They don't win this talent show, but he's like, these three ladies are going somewhere. So he gets them to sing backup for Eddie Murphy's character, James Thunder Early. Things go well. Jamie Foxx, like, you guys gotta see more pop tunes, and he starts paying off radio stations to actually get their songs on the radio, because at that time, if you were black, they kind of push you aside. Not kind of, they push you aside. So in order to get some kind of an impact, we gotta actually get these songs on the radio. They're being successful. They do this club in Florida, and then someone goes, I don't really care for Eddie Murphy's singer, but I like these women. And Jamie Foxx sees dollar signs. Instead of the Dreamettes, we're going to call you the Dreams. And instead of Jennifer Hudson, because of her plus size figure and such, we're going to have Beyonce's character do it. Pretty much Jamie Foxx wants to attract more of a white audience to be more successful, to be more mainstream. And again, I will give credit where credit's due. The movie definitely looked like a budget was on hand. It's extremely fast paced. The cast do their jobs well. I don't think any of the actors are bad. Even Beyonce or Jennifer Hudson. I know she won the Oscar for this. I don't know if she deserved an Oscar for the role for Best Supporting Actress, but for someone who never acted before, although granted, there wasn't, again, 80% of the film is songs, so I guess maybe if she sings through her roles, okay, for a first timer, she didn't do bad at all. Did fairly well. It was cool to see Danny Glover play off of Eddie Murphy. It's cool to see those two on the same screen together. And I kind of got a little bit sucked into the story, wondering, well, I want to say what's going to happen, because based on what these people are loosely based on, you can kind of tell where it's going. But it's flashy. It's flashy. It has really good songs, catchy songs, and it has sort of an infectious energy to it. And Eddie Murphy was great. Eddie Murphy, although I wish he was in the film more. I guess I thought he was going to be in the film a lot more than he was, because it's a 2 hour and 10 minute movie, and I swear if you combine the amount of screen time, it's like 15 minutes. If it was 20 minutes, I'd be surprised. Because you see him at the beginning singing, then you don't see him for a while, except he's looking at a TV to see that the backdrop dancers are now becoming more popular than him. And it cuts away and you see him, he's going to do some drugs. Then it cuts to him singing with some of them, the Dreamettes, for this charity thing. And then Jamie Foxx says no, and you just sort of see the hurt and sort of, oh shit, on his face. Good acting without needing dialogue. I mean, Eddie did a solid job in that scene. and he starts pulling out the stuff for drugs, and the lady that's not Jennifer Hudson and not Beyonce, there was a third lady. She's with Eddie Murphy's character. She's like, no, you shouldn't do that. Eddie Murphy, he doesn't get violent, doesn't push her aside, he just ignores her and starts ready to shoot up. I think the next time you see him is they're doing this show on TV, and Eddie Murphy's like, hey, I'm tired of this sad music. Come on, we need to be more upbeat. And he sees a more upbeat song, he even takes down his pants. He still has a short song, but just to be crazy and have soul, and then Jamie Foxx fires him. And just the look on his face and the slow motion, he's like, yeah, okay, he's a drug addict and this happened. You kind of know where it's going. And then next time you hear he died of a drug overdose. I think it's heroin. And I will admit, a big part of me wishes this was Eddie Murphy's film. And it was centered on his character, the ups and downs. And you'd have a good ending as well. Because I know you say, well, it's based on the Supremes, but what was the Eddie Murphy character that this happened to and died of a drug overdose? Who was that in the Diana Ross Supremes reality? That's a question for those who are much more knowledgeable on it than me. With that said, I wish it was strictly his movie, because I was really wanting to know more about that character. But when Eddie Murphy was there, he was electric. He was actually a pretty decent singer, and the little moments of acting. And I guess considering he was nominated for an Oscar, that's why I was like, for supporting actor, I'm like, wow, I thought he was in the film more. So yeah, that's like one of my flaws of the film, I guess you could say, is I wish it was his movie. Jamie Foxx definitely seems like a very one-dimensional villain. I don't know if that's how Barry Gordy Jr. was in real life. If that's the case, then I guess. But it also says very loosely based, so it's just I never really saw any good. It just seemed like, especially in the second half of the film, very one-note villainous performance by Jamie Foxx's character. Like even when they hear the death of Eddie Murphy's character, he doesn't really feel any sympathy of it. But that could be due to my big flaw with the film. I can't believe I'm saying this. This film was, I would say, too fast-paced. Because it seemed like a lot of times I was seeing the Cliff Notes version of the movie, meaning it would go by so fast. If you're watching the film and you leave to get a can of soda out of the fridge and you come back, that 40 seconds, you may have missed an entire fucking plot. Like the montage of them being successful, or things of that nature. Just things go very quickly to, okay, they get found out by Jamie Foxx, then they're working with Eddie Murphy, then Danny Glover doesn't want to be a part of it, so he leaves. Then they're in Florida. Then, oh, you're going to be the Dreamettes. I'm like, already? They're going to be the Dreams. Oh, already? Okay. And they're breaking Eddie Murphy off. Okay. Then Eddie disappears for a while. I'm like, okay, that's already? And then, oh, you're going to be the lead of the Dreams. Dina Jones, Beyonce's character. I'm like, okay, well, that was quick. I barely saw the success of them with Jennifer Hudson as the lead singer. I barely saw that. But now Beyonce is the star singer. And then very, very quickly, like almost as if it's a lot of... This movie has almost more montages than Rocky IV. It just... I don't know how else to put it. On the one hand, I appreciate it because it wasn't boring and it really kept going. I guess because it was telling this decades worth, well, I guess really, what was it, like 7 years, 8 years worth of story at a 2 hour, 10-minute running time. And plus, it's a lot of it is song and musical numbers. So I guess because you have these big songs, so then the plot has to go and then we're to another song. Maybe that's how the I want to get this right, the 1981 Broadway musical of the same name. Maybe that's how that was done. So they were just following what they were given. But usually I'm the guy that, oh, please have a faster pace. But this one, I was like, slow down for some of these stories. Like at the very end, when Jamie Foxx is supposed to realize that this little girl is his daughter that he didn't know even existed for 7 years, because he the three women are going to have their final tour. Jamie Foxx is outside with another woman talking to reporters. Then the show starts. Then they bring out Jennifer Hudson because her character, when things were going haywire years ago, was forced out and then gave birth and was trying to take care of her kid. So this final tour, they bring her back. Then they're singing. Then all of a sudden, there's Jamie Foxx walking down, and he's looking down and looks at Jennifer Hudson and looks at the kid. I'm like, well, wait a minute, where's the scene of him looking at the kid, studying the kid? Is that who I think it is? Like, huh? Like him sort of realizing, look at the little girl, like the sort of stuff you would have in between. There'd be times it almost seemed like it went from A to D to G. I'm like, wait a minute, where's B and C? So I would say for me, that's the biggest flaw of the film. That and I wish there was more Eddie Murphy, because when he was there, definitely the best part of the film, best part of the flick. With that said, though, it's definitely a good looking film. I think it's a well directed film. It definitely has an energy to it. I definitely didn't think it was boring. As a guy that's not really into musicals, it it zipped along. I thought quite a few of the songs were well done. I don't think the actors were that bad at all. Some good catchy songs. One Night Only, Listen. Let's see, what was the one I was thinking of? Patience, that was a good one. It was a pretty decent flick. I'm definitely surprised that I didn't hate the film. So I guess if you're more into musicals or if anything seems interesting to you, I think it's definitely worth at least one watch. I don't think this is a film I would go out and buy and get. I don't think I would ever watch the film again. But the bits of Eddie that you see throughout the flick, which was great, catchy songs, solid production values. Again, the budget was definitely on the screen. Wasn't too bad of a flick. Wasn't too shabby of a flick. I must admit. Again, it needed to ease up and calm down a little bit and flesh out certain things or certain characters or certain situations or lengthen some stuff or have a movie where Eddie Murphy is more prominent and it's more about his character and up and down of his career, and then maybe a bit of redemption for Eddie Murphy's character, and like that's what's in the back of my head. I wish this was Eddie Murphy's film and his character. I think we really would have had something special. I really do, because he was definitely the like I said, the best part of the movie. And Jamie Foxx, like I said, he's a little bit one-dimensional villain. Wish maybe a little bit a layer to him. Like he's doing these manipulative things, but I don't know. In this case, I was waiting for him to twirl a mustache and certain stuff. But yeah, not a rant. Not that bad of a film, really isn't. And yeah, if you're an Eddie Murphy fan, you've never seen a flood, you should at least give it a one watch. It's worth a look, at least one time. So thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.